for KP's Video News. KP's Video News. It's KP's Video News, y'all. It's KP's Video News, y'all.
That's right, it's time for KP's Video News. And this story here kind of hits home because I do have relatives that live in this particular city, and I used to live there for a brief moment myself at one time, and that's Aurora, Colorado. And they have a this story kind of hit home with me because I was like, wait a minute, I'm looking at this thing and I'm saying, well, and the first thing I thought about was my female cousins and their kids over there. Even this didn't happen to them, but that's what I'm just saying. It could have been them. And Colorado police apologized over viral video of cops handcuffing black girls in a mistaken stop. And Saturday morning was meant to be a girls' outing for the Gilliams as cousins, sisters, aunts, and nieces piled into an SUV to get their nails done together at the suburban Denver city of Aurora. But before they could even find an open salon, the family's 4 children were ordered at gunpoint to lay face down on the parking lot, and 2 were handcuffed. The black girls, who ranges in ages from 6 years old to 17 years old, broke down into tears and screams as a group of white officers hoovered over them. My mother, one of them, can be heard wailing on the video of the incident, gasping for air between sobs. Can I have my sister next to me? And Aurora's police chief apologized on Monday and launched an internal investigation after the video of the incident quickly went viral. Police blamed a misunderstanding. Now look at this, these are the 2 lies they told. The license plate number on the stolen motorcycle, a motorcycle license. So you saying that a stolen motorcycle license plate matched a SUV license plate, and that the car had been reported missing earlier that year. So I mean, if it had been missing earlier that year, why wasn't it taken off of the list? It's been on there earlier. So you talking about two fabricated stories that I'm not agreeing with. Anyway, with Brittany Gilliam, who had been driving her relatives to the salon, said the mix-up did not justify forcing her young relatives onto the pavement and putting them ages 6 through 12, well, the 12-year-old and the 17-year-old, in handcuffs. She has since filed a complaint. It's police brutality. There's no excuse why you can't handle it a different way. You could have even told them, step off to the side and let me ask your mom or your auntie a few questions, and so we can get this cleared up. Sunday's confrontation, which has been viewed more than 1.4 million times on Twitter as of early Tuesday, marks another troubling incident for a police department that has already drawn intense scrutiny over its treatment of black people. Nearly a year ago, Aurora police tackled 23-year-old Elijah Mccain as he was walking down the street, placed him in a chokehold just moments before paramedics injected the black man with a heavy sedative. Last month, 2 officers were fired over photos reenacting the violent arrest near a memorial for Mccain, who died days later. Following a national outcry in recent weeks, Colorado Governor Jared Polis has ordered an independent review of the man's death. The latest troubling incident for Aurora Police Department began just before 11 a.m. on Sunday, when police were notified about a possible stolen vehicle near a strip mall off Aurora's Olive Avenue. They said in a statement, officers dispatched to the scene found a vehicle matching the physical description and license plate number they had been given. A few yards away, the Gilliam family discovered that the nail salon they were hoping to go to was in fact closed. As Brittany and another adult relative loaded the 4 girls back into the SUV, the police approached the car from behind with their guns drawn. As an adult in the family was led away and questioned, officers handcuffed 2 of the girls and ordered all four that lay face down on the parking lot beside the car. Now you already know these are all black kids, and there's no way possible that they would have did the same thing if that car had been filled with white people. There's no way he would have handcuffed them and had them laying on the ground like that. You know that. So Jennifer Wirtz, a bystander who filmed the incident, shouted to police that the girls were scared and asked to be able to speak to them. But the officers refused, telling her to stand back about 25 feet to avoid interfering. After about a minute, an officer crouched down and asked the children, "Can I get you guys off the ground?" "Yes, I want to get off," one of them responded through tears. He begged. He helps the two girls in handcuffs, 17 and 12, sit up, but leaves them with their hands restrained behind their backs. It's a 12-year-old and a 17-year-old girls now. In a statement, Monday, Aurora police said the officers may have gotten mixed up because the family's SUV had been stolen that year, and though their vehicle was found the next day. Police also clarified that another vehicle bearing the same license plate number, that's not even possible. As Gilliam was reported stolen on Sunday. That's not even possible. There's no way they're going to have two cars with the same license plate. Now, come on now. That vehicle was a motorcycle from Montana. So a motorcycle from Montana was all the way in Denver, Colorado with the same license plate, and it was reported stolen. Either way, like I said, that was a motorcycle. You don't know the difference between a motorcycle and an SUV? So Aurora police said officers are trained to perform a high-risk stop when stopping a stolen car, and tactic involves drawing weapons, telling passengers to exit the vehicle, and ordering them to lie on the ground. Come on, man. This is bull. And the spokeswoman for the police department stated there was no written policy about when and how to use the stop, which is also used when officers know or suspect people in the car are armed. These are 12-year-old, 6-year-old kids now, girls. And you expect for the 6-year-old girl and 12-year-old and 17-year-old girl to have guns. Okay. All right. So the department's interim chief, Vanessa Williams, said police officers must be allowed to deviate from the written procedure depending on the different scenarios they face in the field. In a statement Monday, she publicly apologized to the Gilliam family and offered age-appropriate therapy to the children involved in the incident, and her agency would examine the new practices and training around high-risk stops, she added. Yet, Tiana Thomas, Gilliam's 14-year-old niece, and one of the girls who had been pinned down, said there was little the police could do to regain her trust. "It's like they don't care," she stated. "Who am I going to call when my life is in danger?" Later on Monday night, as the video of the officers pinning the girls spread far and wide across the media, Aurora City Council voted to make Wilson the city's permanent police chief, and that's what's her name, Vanessa Wilson, which is it just happens to be a black lady, so they made her police chief. I guess they felt that would calm things down somewhat. And in a similar situation, this situation happened in D.C. Similar situation. It's like two black women say the Secret Service handcuffed them and separated them from their kids with no cause. This is another city now. Two black mothers are demanding an investigation after they were reportedly detained by Secret Service officers brandishing guns during a visit to the National Mall with their babies. India Johnson, 26, and Yasmin Winston, 25, stated that they planned to take their two babies, Quincy and Jesus, 13 months and 6 months old. That's 13-month-old and 6-month-old respectively, to visit the World War II memorial earlier this summer. However, they said their plans quickly came to a halt when the Secret Service police vehicle drove into the front of their car shortly after they arrived. Moments after the women said officers pulled guns on them and handcuffed them outside their cars. Their babies cried in the back seat. The women stated that the officer said the car had been reported stolen. Here we go again. Johnson, who owns the vehicle, said she provided proof to the officers it was hers and told them she hadn't reported it stolen. The women said they were handcuffed for roughly 45 minutes before they were able to be with their babies again. A bystander told them the officers searched their car during that time without Johnson's permission. The woman said they also weren't read their Miranda rights. An attorney representing the women sent a letter to Secret Service Director James Murray calling for a probe into the incident. In this letter, Maloney touched on racial tensions felt nationwide in the past few months after the killing of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and other black Americans, as widespread protests against police brutality and racial injustice continue in the country. This incident took place near our national monuments across from the White House. It occurred after 8 weeks of unprecedented national demonstration about excessive police conduct, some of which took place right there on Constitution Avenue. Has the Secret Service learned nothing this summer? These were two young African American mothers with their babies sitting lawfully in a car with DC tags. Can the Secret Service honestly say it would have treated white out-of-town tourists and their babies sitting there without this tag the same way? While Maloney and stated that he hasn't yet received word from the Secret Service about his letter, the agency told the Post that it has gotten a query requesting the agency investigate an alleged interaction between uniformed division officers and two members of the public. It is also said it is currently looking into the matter. It's total garbage, man. Total garbage. The two women say they have had trouble recovering since the ordeal. He said, I could have been another Breonna Taylor. I could have been another innocent woman who has no record and got shot, Winston stated. We don't get in trouble. Nothing like this has ever happened to us. I thought the police were here to serve and protect us, and now it's really uncomfortable, as she stated. I'm telling you, man, some real crazy stuff going on. Real crazy stuff going on out there. And switching off, I'm gonna go to this is like national news I'm doing here. So they got a Tulsa race massacre gravestones put on display to protest Black Lives Matter mural. Protest the removal. So activists in Tulsa, Oklahoma on Monday put tens of cardboard gravestones on a Black Lives Matter mural in Greenwood to protest its removal. The gravestones represent black Americans who died and who were killed in 1921 Tulsa race massacre, when white mobs descended on black businesses and killed black residents in one of the nation's most horrific racial massacres in history, as those killed by police. I felt like displaying the names of the victims of police brutality and the names of the victims of 1921 Tulsa race massacre would help people understand why we say Black Lives Matter, one of the activists, Tiffany Crutcher, stated. There was no atonement for the massacre of 1921 and no atonement for people whose lives were lost through police brutality. And Crutcher, who told the paper her twin brother was killed by police years back. And the same culture that burned down Black Wall Street is the same culture we are seeing today, she continued. The mural was painted close to Juneteenth last month to protest Trump's rally in Tulsa. But last week, city officials ordered the mural to be removed because it wasn't approved. The order came after a pro-police group requested to paint another mural on a public street. Though Black Lives Matter mural was supported among some city council members, the group had decided then that it would be unfair to allow one group's mural to remain and not allow the same from other groups. It's not about the message or anything like that. I applaud it. It's great, but at the same point, it comes down to, yes, if you allow one, then you have to allow all of them. Councilor Connie Dodson said at the time. However, After the gravestone display Monday, Tulsa officials temporarily suspended the order to remove the Black Lives Matter mural. It's unclear when the city plans to schedule the removal. I'm telling you, man. See, this is a lot of nonsense going on, a lot of total nonsense going on, folks. And what we have to do is be aware, and that's what I'm doing here, trying to keep you aware of what's going on. And these are nationwide. I went from Colorado to D.C. to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and it's the same old song. It's the same song all around the country, the same song.
It's KP's Video News, y'all. It's KP's Video News, y'all.
Peace.